they didn't think that you had a breaking point. So let's get into this. I'm just going to start vibing and seeing what's up here. I need you to understand something before I start. This isn't about someone who thought you were weak. This is about someone who thought you were limitless. You were exponentially available. So there's the big difference there. So these cards already feel super heavy. There was a person that was comfortable, very comfortable. I'm hearing they're going to be fine. They always are. Let me get into pile 1 right away. But first, I'm going to give you a moment to decide what pile calls you in. So we have pile 1, we have pile 2, and we have pile 3. I'll give you a sec to decide. Like I said, we're going to start with 1, but I'll give you a sec to decide. I'll meet you in the readings. Pile 1, welcome. When I was originally introducing the cards to you guys, they felt very heavy. And like I said, I heard they'll be fine. They always are. So this is someone that was used to you always being there, used to you not exploding, used to you not overreacting. They would never get an ultimatum when they were uncomfortable. Like, you were patient with them. And they took that patience as like weakness and permanence. So let's pull a few cards. Did you see all those cards that fell out? All right, 10 of Wands. So this person prides themselves on being strong, confident, a little dominant. This person sets the tone. This person assumes that they understand people. Like, they read situations a little bit too quickly. And they definitely thought they had you figured out. That you would adapt, you would adjust, you'd give them grace, you'd give them some bending if they needed, you know? And at first, it looks like you did. So that looks like there was this comfort phase here. If you see all the cards, you absorbed things for them, absorbed comments, delays, inconsistencies, like them being distant here and there. The Fool. The Empress. Yeah, see, that's where the assumption happened here. They always thought you would just be chill. Okay, yeah. So this is like, I'll tolerate anything mindset. So they started testing your like loyalty at first. It's weird. So the 7 of Swords is curiosity, but the Sun is, what happens if I don't text first? What happens if I just cancel? Let's just see. What happens if I pull back on this new beginning, the Star? And when nothing dramatic happened, there was no consequences, they would just relax. They'd be chill. And that was interesting because they relaxed because you didn't snap and freak out or punish them. You didn't threaten to leave them. You just stayed chill. You stayed calm, cool, collected. That's you. So they thought that you didn't have this wall. You were limitless. You were just chilling. And I need to say this clearly. They actually admire your patience, but they also benefited from it and kind of took it for advantage of it. Like, there's some entitlement here. Like, it's not arrogance, but it's like subtle. Yeah. It's like the type of person that says they're going to understand. They always will understand. 8 of Swords. Ooh. Okay. This is a switch up here. Let me get a different deck. Hang on. So there's this change here with that 8 of Swords. Let's see what the change is. I feel like they were taken off guard. Ooh. Okay. You being quiet about pulling back. You're not explaining, and you weren't fixing things so you weren't making it cozy and comfortable for them anymore, but you also weren't exploding. So they didn't register it. See, they were naive. So this is like being subtly dismissive. The Fool. They mistook your calm for being obedient. You know what I mean? Like they thought you were just going along with what they wanted. What is this one? Two of Cups. But what you were actually doing was reaching your max. The Lovers fell down on the ground here. One sec. Okay, I'm a little bit too pregnant to grab that right now, but it's the Lovers. Okay, so that's Gemini. So this person didn't actually think you were going to hit the wall, that shit wasn't going to hit the fan. Because in their head, you were the calm, cool, collected one, the bigger person. And they're used to people like overreacting and being loud and just yelling. Okay, so their logic is a bit flawed here. But where did everything break? Where did it all break here? So this is interesting because, like I said, your boundary, your reaction wasn't dramatic. It was just final. It was, this is the way it's going to be. Final. That's it. And their energy is like, wait, what? Well, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to negotiate. But like, what? You know? And you're just done. That was the moment. You're just done. That's it. And when you were calm and unavailable with them, it was just, okay, what is this? Let's see. This is shock. Not chaotic. Just shock. They genuinely didn't think you would draw any line. Like they thought that they could just walk all over you, that you would bend, that you would just keep bending and that you would just be smoothed over. Everything would be smoothed over. Queen of Pentacles. So that made them take a look at themselves. Because this person sees themselves as capable, competent, in control of everything. This person doesn't usually get blindsided, but they kind of got blindsided here, but not because you did anything wrong, but they just weren't expecting it. Now let me grab that card that fell. One sec. Okay. It's the Lovers, like I said. So there's this memory that comes up though. There's this memory they had that came up that they thought you let slide. And now they're just replaying that very, very differently. And they're like, oh shit, that was the last straw. This is what they're thinking. But at the time, they didn't realize it. So you just stopped absorbing that uncomfortableness in the relationship. So without that little cushion that you were offering, their actions landed harder. Because once you withdrew, they had to sit with the impact, the Six of Wands. There's no more like safety net for them. There's no more guaranteed forgiveness. There's no more emotional, I want to say like elasticity, like boing, boing, boing. Because they respected you before, but this changed the level of respect. Doesn't mean that they don't respect you now, but now they see you as someone that has actual standards, not just patience and willing to take people's shit. You know what I mean? So the patience says, I can handle it, but your standard says, I'm not gonna because I don't need to. You know what I mean? That's the difference. Eight of Cups. It's a quiet realization. They realize you have options. It's internal. It's not dramatic. I'm hearing, I misjudged them. I missed the signs. And there's like humiliation attached to that. Like they're embarrassed. And they're not chasing. They're aware that they got too comfortable and they took advantage of it. This person's very apologetic though. Like they're assuming that you just didn't have a breaking point. But strength isn't just a limitless person. Like strength is just someone who can handle their own. But you found your strength. Knight of Cups. Yeah, you didn't yell. You didn't threaten. You didn't perform in anything. You just stopped taking it. You stopped taking everything that they're trying to put on you. Because now they know you can walk. You can detach. You can move on, frankly. And most importantly, you can choose yourself. Because there's something here at the end, though. What is this? Like, ooh, it's respect. 3 of Wands. This is the kind that says, they're not who I thought they were. Not in a negative way, but in like a sobering way. Like sobering up sort of way. Like not as in drinking, but sobering up from the drunkenness of their, you know, because they were sort of living in their own bubble. And now that you announced your limits silently, like you just sort of showed it, it made them realize like, oops, they realize they need to adjust what they perceive of you. So they thought you were flexible, but now they're realizing you're serious. You're not going to bend. And they learned that you're strong enough to put this on the line. And that lesson's going to stay with them, whether they decide to move towards you or not. But there was no scene that you had to make here. And actually, the fact that you were so chill and didn't say anything was the best move. So you just reached your limit and they realized that. So now that you have, it's real to them. So that's where the change came in. That's where like the shift came in. That's where the respect came in for you. And that's your reading, pile 1. Follow us into pile 2. See you there. Bye. Pile 2, welcome. Okay, let's see. Ooh, I'm not even done shuffling yet. And I got to say this. It hit them when their message didn't go through the way it normally does. Like I'm thinking like undelivered, unanswered, no response. Ooh. And they're staring at this like screen here. Because you always respond. Maybe not instantly, but like you always get to it. And this time, there's nothing. So I'm seeing them check their phone over and over again. Refresh, lock, refresh. Chick, chick, chick. Zoom, zoom. Like refreshing. Going back to their thread. In your thread. Out your thread. Why is it quiet? Wait, hang on. Are they typing? Why is there bubbles here? Wait, there wasn't any bubbles. Ooh, 8 of Swords. Look, ego spike. Immediate. They're telling themselves it's fine. They're busy. Lying to themselves. Oh, yeah. Death. Like jaw clenched. Tightness in your chest. I'm rereading it. Was that too much? Was that too short? Was that too little? Should I have added something? Should I have double texted? No, don't double text. Like, that looks desperate. Don't do it. Like, these crazy thoughts over and over. But why aren't they responding? This is the moment. This is the exact second that they start slipping. Because look at this internal conflict. Because before this, they did whatever the F they wanted. They disappeared for hours. They went out for hours, dazed. They just chilled. They left you on red. They left you like, I don't know, just did shady shit. Like, look at the moon here. And it always balanced out. You were always, always there. And now the energy kind of feels swapped up. Like, also, this is Gemini. And this is their internal conflict. Ooh, the Hermit reverse. This is... Okay. This, like, impulse, heated, frustration. They start typing something else. Like, okay, like, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna... Hello, did you see my last message? But then they delete it. Type something funnier. Delete it. This is a Libra here. Type it again, delete it. Why am I thinking this much about them? I can't message them that. This is what they're thinking. This is what's going through their head. Why am I this bothered? Because that silence is hella loud to them. It's not just like neutral. And it feels intentional to them. Like they feel like it is a silent treatment, and their ego does not like that. 9 of Wands, that's them. So they're saying like, oh, so that's what we're doing now? But they don't even know what's going on right now. Like they're not even really sure what's going on this second. There's no argument. There's no blow up. They just don't really know what's even happening. Just a shift in like, the communication. Knight of Cups. And their body's reacting before their brain can even register what's going on. Like, are they talking to someone else? Did I push too far? Did they finally get fed up with me? Like a million questions is what they're asking themselves. Okay, so hang on. Did you see that? The moon here? This is them replaying the last few interactions over and over. That joke you didn't laugh at as much. That shorter reply. That time you ended the conversation with a period instead of no period. They go back and they're scrolling, comparing the tones, going through them on, over-analyzing the punctuation. They're like, but they used to send me more emojis before. Why none now? This is like obsessive energy. And they don't like that about themselves. They could be a Leo. They're used to being the detached one. The one who controls the pace, controls the narrative. And right now, they feel exposed. 9 of Pentacles. So I need to be honest here. There's panic in their stomach. Like, there's like a drop. Like, you know when you miss a step on the stairs? That's what this feels like. Because to them, for the first time, they're not sure where they stand with you. And they hate that. I'm going to pull another one here. So let's see another one here. Okay, here we go. Possessive thoughts. So this Ace of Pentacles mixed with the Death card. It's interesting here. Possessive thoughts. Not healthy thoughts. Like, if they think they can just ignore me, oh yeah, I'm going to prove a point too. I can do all of that too, but I can do it better. Like, so it's ego reacting with ego. They're going to start like crafting a response in their head that they're going to send later. Like they're preemptively thinking of that they could make it feel like they're detached from you. But here's the thing. They keep checking their phone every few minutes. Every notification makes their heart jump. And when it's not you, irritation. Like they're irritated that you're not texting them. They don't want to admit it. See that? 9 of Swords. That answer makes them vulnerable. And vulnerability feels like losing. So they start contemplating posting something passive-aggressive. Queen of Wands. A photo, something that could even be something that makes them look unbothered. Makes them seem like they're active. Or something petty. Ace of Wands in reverse. But then they hesitate because they're like, but wait, what if it doesn't work and they don't even see it? What if they don't care? Then I'm just going to look like an idiot. Hey, I need another card. Hang on here. 2 of Pentacles. Yeah. This is not calm reflection. This mixed with the 9 of Swords is picking up a phone, putting it back down. Picking up a phone, putting it back down. Opening your profile, closing your profile. Like this is making a conscious decision to obsess over you. Looking at the timestamps of when you were last active. Trying to piece together a narrative. They don't have proof of anything. They don't have proof of anything except for absence. And that absence feels like rejection. It feels like their mind is just racing. Oh, but if they pull back, I'm going to pull back harder. If they're testing me, oh yeah, I'm going to show them. That's what this feels like. But underneath all that, they have the 5 of Swords. But wait, shit, what if I already did? What if this is them detaching? What if I miscalculated things, mistimed out things? And now they want to fix it, but they don't know how without looking weak. So they isolate. Cold, hot, cold, hot. Like, weird. This person types your name into their messages just to see if there's text bubbles. This person looks at your text from previously where you were warmer with them, softer with them, and their stomach sort of twists into different, feelings because the tone now is different, and they can feel that. So they can feel you stepping back, pulling back, and it's not like a conversation. It's not a confrontation. It's just the feeling of withdrawal, and they didn't prepare for that. They prepared for arguments. Remember, I said they were calculating things in their head. 6 of Swords and the Tower in reverse. They weren't preparing for you to be unavailable. Look at this, the Tower right here. That's the energy in their test. This isn't explosive externally. This is internal. Everything feels unstable to them. They're trying to act normal, trying to focus, trying to distract. But their thoughts keep circling back, circling back, circling back. Why is this different? Why does this feel like I'm losing something? But they almost send that message, remember? Boop, 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 erase it, right? Almost. Don't send it. Are we good? Beep, 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 beep. Erase it. That's what this feels like. Because that would expose too much. So instead, they wait. They anticipate this Tower moment. And this waiting feels like punishment. And they're waiting for this Tower moment. And the longer you don't reach out, the more frantic they're getting in their head. Did I push too far? Did I assume too much? Did I think I had more control and I didn't? Their pride is fighting their anxiety, And that anxiety, it's winning. But they refuse to show it. So on the outside, they're chill, calm, cool, collected, still silent. But on the inside, they're tripping balls. And the worst part, they don't even know if you're doing it on purpose. But they have a comeback if you are. They don't know if this is just temporary or if the door was closing. They just feel something's different. And it scares them. Because if you can detach like this, if you can move like this, then maybe they weren't as important in your life as they thought, or as secure in your life as they thought. And that thought, it does not let them sleep easy. Their phone, here we go. Their phone is still there, face up, waiting, volume on high, waiting for you to call. It gets harder for them to pretend that they're not panicking over you. This person's not okay with the silence, with the uncertainty. So right now, they don't know how to fix it without losing you. This is their issue here. They don't know if they should communicate. So this person's restless, reactive, watching, opening your notifications, thinking that it's going to come through a text from you. And they hate that about themselves. Follow us into pile 3. Let's get you some more answers. Bye. Pile 3, welcome. Okay, so this energy, let's see what we've got here. Just take a breath with me for a sec. Okay, it feels quiet. Hierophant. Not dramatic, not heavy, just quiet. And I need to get this out here immediately. This isn't some big explosion. This isn't about someone who's tripping out and having some like crazy realization. This is about something like internal with someone. This is about someone working on themselves, and then you brought to light what they were actually feeling. So interesting. This is someone who has a long-standing pattern of like emotional containment. Like, do you see this? This person learned very on how to manage themselves, but their way of doing that is being in control, and you can't control people. They don't let things get too close to their heart. Like, they keep things manageable. You know, they like to have options. They like relationships manageable, and they like attachment manageable. This person's not shallow or careless, just like contained. Let me see if I can get another card to get a better word here. Okay. So this is someone who operates from an emotional distance. Like, and it's not because they don't care. It's as a strategy. Yep. From them, distance equals safety. Look at this. You got both aces from a distance. So when they started deepening that emotion for you, they didn't pull away because they don't care. They pulled away because, look, the internal conflict inside them recognized that this is kind of getting past what they're usually comfortable with. They could be a Leo. So instead of leaning in, they pulled back. Not dramatically, not to be cruel, just because that's what they're used to. And it was like instinctively. So let me just chill with this for a sec. Hang on. Okay. So there's a pattern here. They keep their emotions on the inside, like I said. So they think about them. They don't sit there and feel. Like, this person wouldn't be crying. If this feels intense, this person wouldn't be analyzing it. Temperance. King of Wands. This person thinks practically, and this is a defense mechanism. Like, it's not malicious, but it's like definitely protective. So this is definitely an avoidant attachment energy. So I don't really see, well, you know what? I don't say this as a label. I say this as a pattern because, look, if you look here, they learn that depending on someone is not the way to do it. They realize that they can't rely on someone without creating pressure. This person's very, very guarded, and they don't want to be exposed by anyone. So they keep one foot outside that door. Whoa. And they don't want to communicate. And it feels like they have to. Interesting. So this person perceives being distant as having freedom. So I want to go deeper into what this connection actually like triggered. What made them like this? Let me use a different deck. So it feels like you were consistent, you were open, you were stable. Yeah. And that made them feel inconsistent. It exposed how much effort that they had put into actually staying distant, to staying guarded. And I don't really feel shame here. I feel like awareness, like sitting alone, realizing someone's there trying to reach out to you, but like, why do I do that? Oh, there's a history of them being self-reliant. They pride themselves on handling things alone. They're proud of it. They're proud that they can handle things alone, process things alone, go through their emotions alone. And when you entered their space, when it made them feel steady, it highlighted how dependent they had to be and how lonely they were. But this realization wasn't like awful for them, but it is a slow realization. Like, it's like being silent in the room after someone leaves and they're like, oh no, I actually really like this pile. So, but let's talk about the distance here. The distance that they kept, wasn't about you being too much. It was them being unsure how to integrate closeness into their life without being overwhelmed. Do you see that your shadow card's the Lovers? This person doesn't like losing control of their environment. And deep emotional connection changes the internal environment. It asked them to respond like, hey, You need to show up. You need to soften. And softening feels unfamiliar to them. Not unsafe, just unfamiliar. Let me pull this card here. It jumped out at me. So there's something here about emotional timing. This person moves slowly with vulnerability. Like when vulnerability is involved, they're like a turtle. This person needs to process before they speak. Think before they open up. Drink water before they open up. You know what I mean? They need to understand their own feelings before they will open up. What card flipped over here? I think it was this one. Death card. Okay. So this person instinctively creates space just to catch up internally, like, which isn't a bad thing. They just need time to create brain space almost. When this person steps back emotionally, though, they thought it would bring them relief. And instead, it brought reflection. See that? Look at the reflection in the water. And that's not comfortable for someone who prefers distraction. So let's just explain this a bit. So this person's very good at staying busy, staying productive, like staying mentally engaged in things other than what they need to be. So, but while they're busy, that's them doing emotional processing, even though they're not good at it. So when this connection lingered in their mind, even when they weren't interacting with you, it disrupted their usual avoidance cycle. Like they couldn't just file it away like they normally could. It stayed with them. Not dramatically, just consistently. And that persistence made them ask themselves questions like, why did that moment matter? Why did that comment stick with me? Why did I feel different around them? Why did I pull back when things felt good? Those are not questions that you usually ask yourself or that they usually ask themselves. But this connection made them sit with it. Let me pull another card. All right, strength. This is accountability. This is them realizing that there's a pattern now and that they default to distance when intimacy gets close. They bring emotional weakness to the relationship and they're realizing that now. And sometimes they withdraw before anyone even can get close. And they're starting to question whether that strategy actually protects them. This isn't about you leaving. This isn't about punishment. It's not about consequence. This is about self-awareness developing. And that is slower than drama. But it's deeper. Let me pull your final card here. Okay. So this is someone realizing emotional closeness needs participation. And this is also the Virgo card. And I say this is Leo. Did I tell you? It's Leo. This person cannot stay guarded and expect to have things deep within you guys. Like they can't expect to have a great relationship with you guys if they're not going to put in the work. So instead of reacting outwardly, they're turning things inwards. This person's thinking about how they've handled relationships in general. They're thinking how often they've kept people at arm's length, how often they've avoided difficult conversations just to avoid the awkwardness, how often they've convinced themselves that they just needed space, but all they really needed was the balls to have the conversation. Or courage. So this pile feels like someone sitting alone and not recognizing that they don't need to be in control to be safe in a relationship. They need to be vulnerable. And vulnerability isn't something that they have ever really practiced. So they're starting to see that avoiding it hasn't actually made things easier. It's made things worse. It's made things quieter, yes, but quieter isn't really the best. either. So the change here is subtle, but real. They're seeing their patterns. They're seeing their defenses. They're seeing how their attachment style has shaped their choices. And instead of blaming circumstances, timing, or external factors, they're beginning to ask themselves, what if I approach this differently? What if I stay instead of stepping back? That's growth. Not loud, not dramatic. They're honest. And this pile ends with someone who is no longer looking outward for explanation. They're looking inward. And that is where real change begins. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.